evening if you're watching in Australia, and welcome if you're watching anywhere else. It's round one of the National Wheelchair Basketball League, coming to you from the Bendad Basketball Stadium in Floreat, Western Australia. My name's Brendan Parnell, and I'm joined by Campbell Fraser here tonight to bring you the broadcast of the second game in a three-game series of round one between the Perth Wheelcats, sponsored by the Insurance Commission of WA, and the Southern District Spartans, sponsored by Carina Leagues Club. Both teams played earlier today in Perth, a midday game, and the Wheelcats were successful in that one. But as part of round one, this is the first time we've seen a full home and away season for a National League in the Wheelchair Basketball League since 2019. The last completed season was 2022, and earlier this weekend, the Red Dust Healers have won both their clashes at the Adelaide Thunder, 77-19 and 77-20. And the Wollongong Roller Hawks took care of the Manly Wheel Eagles, 94-41 and 94-48. Campbell, what are we expecting tonight?
I think between these two teams, they both run really fast games. They want to play aggressive. I'd be expecting the Spartans to push a little bit harder, knowing that they've come off a loss, but knowing they actually pulled pretty well, especially against the experience on the side of the Wheelcats. So be interesting to see how this plays out.
Okay, and starting lineups, you can see the Perth team in the red with the black trim. It's number 2, Frank Pinder, 10, Sean Norris, 13, Tom McHugh, 14, Jake Kavanagh, the vice-captain, and 18, Phil Evans. And for Southern District, the visitors in their black strip, it's number 0, Jordan Bartley, 4 is Ethan Laird, 7 is Hayden Seabar, 9, Shannon Buxton, and 23, Jake Fullwoods are underway. First possession for Perth. Norris with the ball. Off, and first basket, Tom McHugh there with the long mid-range jumper. Ethan Laird dominated the scoring in the first game today. 29 points, trying to find his way through. Dribble weave there, and off the glass. The Southern District scoring underway. Norris again running the point. Ball in the paint, up and over the rim. It's Jake Kavanagh.
And that's kind of the speed I was talking about, not even using half of the shot clock, but scoring off that.
Ethan Laird getting it across now to Nakia Fato, who's a surprise starter in this second game. That shot's away and not finding any iron at all. Ball to Perth.
A little unhappy with the contact there. I think he wanted a foul, but wasn't going to get it.
Expecting something early from our officials.
Probably testing out what they're going to call so that he can kind of play off that.
Norris again, looking for options inside. Out to McHugh. He likes the look of that. Uses every part of the rim.
Oh, is that? That might be Tom.
I think it was. Ethan Laird using the screen there from Jake Fullwood. Ball back out to Laird from 3. It rims in and out. Perth in transition. Glass not successful there for Jake Kavanagh, but second time around offensive rebound, he manages to put that one away.
Spartans have got to find a way to shut that down. They can't let him keep shooting from that position, especially when he's not that big of a player.
What are the options there, Campbell, in terms of defensive adjustment already at this early juncture?
I think already they had the mismatch was had kind of already set that shot up. I mean, they've got to get a slightly taller player to get down there, or at least call in help. Because by the time he'd taken that shot, still no one was coming in.
Ethan Laird finds a way to the hoop.
Roll. And that's the contact Ethan wants.
Nice to see Tom McHugh there raising his hand to concede that he'd been the transgressor. 2 free throws to come for Tom Laird. For Ethan Laird, I beg your pardon. We mentioned his big game in the first encounter today as he misses that first free throw. 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, befitting of his status as one of the Australian national team rollers players. Second one's a little off to the right. Norris pushing transition. Finds a way to the hoop. Nice
Defender did well, actually. You could see off the ball he was kind of keeping his defender out, and that's what let Sean roll in there.
Laird coming down, setting something up, using the C-bar screen, and draws some more contact. Campbell, for anybody who's watching for the first time, can you explain a little bit about how many pushes of the chair each of the players is allowed?
Yeah, so you're allowed 2 pushes of your chair, assuming that that's either one hand, 1 push, or 2 at the same time, 2 hands. Both wheels counts as 1 push.
So we
Bit
see
of fast break there.
Yeah, Jake Kavanagh with the steal, takes it all the way for the layup, and
Great turnover.
probably no surprise there. Early timeout by the Southern District's Spartans. Thomas Kyle there. Want to have a chat probably about those very things you mentioned, the defensive alignment, and probably struggling for a little bit of offense.
Yeah, they're just letting it down a little bit. They don't feel confident in a sense. I mean, Ethan's gone in for that contact a couple times, but they're just not kind of communicating quite as much.
So we see head coach Ben Ettridge likely pretty pleased with the positive start from the home team, the Perth Wheelcats. Of course, the most successful team in the long history of the National Wheelchair Basketball League. 8 titles for a league that started back in 1988. What do you think's been the secret to their longevity and success?
I think they've had a couple of players who came through when wheelchair basketball was pretty young, people like Brad Ness, and they've really stayed in the system, stayed around Perth, and really grown that system. There's a really strong culture and a lot of infrastructure that helps them out, and all of these players are very committed to what they do.
And certainly having this beautiful facility, the state basketball facility in the centre of Perth, where the Lynx and the Wildcats the Wildcats train, but the Lynx play their National League women's games here. So we'll see what the Southern District side can come up with now. Ethan Laird with the ball, the point. Screen from Jake Fullwood, finds his way into the paint. Retreats, looking for help. Fortunately, another turnover. Norris, the recipient there, as he looks to push transition the other way for the Wheelcats.
Ooh.
A break in play there with Shannon Buxton out of his chair, being assisted by players from both teams.
Unfortunate not to get a call there, falling out. I mean, it was slightly past the play, and that's when referees will continue it, but really unlucky to not get a call there.
Ethan Laird looking for an opening. Wheels around. Then looks at 3.
Beautiful shot.
Fantastic touch.
You could see he was looking for that shot a couple times. He kind of circled around to it. Long pass.
Very nice assist there. Tom McHugh, the recipient, makes the layup. The Wheelcats lead out to 11. And 3 more. I think they've called that a long 2.
Ooh. Ethan won't be happy about that one.
No. You can see the referee there with the hand pointing down to the line. So we see a lovely cut through the middle. Jake Kavanagh, the recipient there, the pass from Tom McHugh. Southern Districts in the black uniforms. Star point guard Laird comes out of his chair there trying to make that layup. Perth look to push the mismatch and transition numbers. Beautiful pass. Unfortunately, the layup can't be made. Ethan Laird finds himself cherry picking.
There we go. That's kind of his recovery after that one. I think he was a little bit annoyed that he didn't get the contact.
Makes the layup as Sean Norris brings the ball up again for Perth. Recipient of a screen there from Phil Evans in 18.
Beautiful quick pass. And that's kind of what you see from the experience of someone like Sean, just being able to recognize that pass, get it in there really quick.
No chance of transition there with Ethan Laird having to go and fetch that ball and deliver the inbound passes. He looks at 3 more. That's short. It's the front iron. Tom McHugh now looking. Transition. Scanning inside. He finds Norris. Roll reversal there. Lovely touch off the glass. The lead's out to 13 for Perth. Laird wheels back around, looks across the top. Fartow with the ball. He looks at the long 2 off the bank. One of the toughest shots in any form of basketball.
Bit of wheel trouble.
Wheel replacement here. So most teams would have a available supply of wheels, and it's a simple clip on, clip off.
Most players will carry at least one spare wheel with them. Because they're all different, they all fit different chairs. But you just take the axle out of one, put it back in the other, and keep moving, and then the team will deal with that while Ethan keeps playing. So
if I'm the team manager, it's my responsibility to have those wheels all aligned there, and in terms of maintenance, is there any
whose is whose?
Yeah, is there any maintenance done during the games? We see a couple of substitutions.
There shouldn't be a lot. I mean, if there's real maintenance that needs to happen, it's pretty rough. But it's usually just one's gone flat, so take it off, get it pumped up, and keep going.
So we see Phil Evans there looking at the long pass inside.
Pass just a little bit off.
Getting a hand on that one, out of bounds. The ball will stay with Perth. 15 on the shot clock. If you're looking at the two numbers above the backboard, the red one indicating the shot clock, 24 seconds allowed for each possession for a team to shoot the ball. As we see Ben Moncrief making that bank shot, and the game clock in the green above those red numbers. 4 10-minute quarters. The ball stopping for every whistle. Another turnover, unfortunately, there.
It was a good idea.
Moncrief,
that's good defense.
Bit of give and go action there, but denied. McHugh thinks better. Looks outside. 3 is in and out from Moncrief. Ethan Laird wheels around looking for no screenies. Ball off to Buxton. Buxton looking inside that pass, hotly contested. McHugh comes away with the steal. He's looking around. Moncrief wheels around. Almost a lane to the basket. Forced to think otherwise. Out to Norris for 3 in rhythm. McHugh lines that one up but can't get it to go. Laird the rebound. He's looking to push. In the paint, that one's off.
Both teams just need to settle down a little bit, just taking quick shots.
The rebound there to Corrich, who's playing in a change number, 21 tonight. It's Fartow with the rebound off that miss for Southern Districts. Looking to push again. Shannon Buxton off to forward. He's found Fartow on the wing. Looks in the corner. Laird lines that one up, but it's short. Sean Norris pushing down the floor. Picked up by Laird. Looks inside. Moncrief. The banker's good.
That's the shot. Once Moncrief gets to that point, he's gonna hit most of those shots. He's really comfortable from there.
So we are down inside the last minute, first quarter. A massive 26-point haul so far for Perth. Laird looking to wheel and deal. Off balance shot there on the as the shot clock goes off in the background.
Fantastic panic shot there.
Very good body control there in the chair. He was moving, you could see starkly to his right as he let that go.
And because he sits so low to the ground, he's got very good control of where he's going. He's not going to get tipped over by anything.
Perth looking for the last shot of the quarter here now. They'll suggest all the seconds available. 7, look inside. McHugh can't get that to go, the one-hander. Laird thinking, can I manufacture something? But time has expired as that half-court shot falls astray. But it's really been all Perth this first quarter. 26-13. Campbell, comments, thoughts on what's been a dominant quarter for Perth?
I think really it's come down to the Spartans not having their defense quite locked in yet. I think the communication's been a little bit down. I mean, even we can hear when it comes down to the Wheelcats defending, you can hear them yelling at each other. They're talking constantly, and it's not quite there on the Spartans. I think they've got the shots. Laird's a very good shooter, and he can shoot better than what he has done so far. But they're just, I think it's that defense is letting them down a little bit.
As we get a view now of the Southern District Spartans huddle there, head coach Thomas Kyle with the whiteboard out. And you'll notice there, compared to the Perth sideline huddle, a smaller roster on the road first round. Southern District's only bringing 8 players in total with them. Is that an issue really for the 3-game series spread over 2 days? 2 games on the Saturday, the 3rd game tomorrow?
I don't think so, only because the players that they've got are really their core group, and I think there's a couple of players that can come in and out. But if they were missing, say, Ethan and Jake Forward, I think they'd really struggle without those 2 kind of core players. But it certainly does mean that they've got a little less interchange. They can't rotate players as easily. If they had kind of players that fit the classifications of each of them, then they can rotate very easily, but it makes it a little harder now.
We can see a little bit of wheel action going on in the background there, a little bit of mechanic stuff. You mentioned before, as we're about to start the second quarter, the different heights in the chairs for the players. Can you explain a little bit more about that for somebody who might be watching wheelchair basketball for the first time?
Yeah, so essentially different players have different physical ability, and one of the big things for that is core. So the players that have more core ability in their abs will sit higher. So if you look at Tom McHugh, he sits very, very high, and he's a high classification player, which essentially means he has more physical ability, whereas Ethan has a little bit lower and sits a lot lower to the ground, which also means his center of gravity is lower, so he can move around a lot easier without the threat of tipping over. Obviously, Tom's a big guy, so he doesn't have too much of that threat, but you do see it a bit more with high point players, that they're a little less sure.
So we see the ball whipped around. Perth in the red. Shot clock running down now. Beautiful shot. Tom McHugh.
Good way to start that quarter.
Referee's just calling a break in play there.
Shot clock wasn't set up correctly.
I think it was a clock issue.
You can see even when the play's dead, you've got a couple players kind of pushing around, kind of testing each other out.
Looking for position. A heavy concentration of players around the top of the key there on the large green logo. Laird wheels around. Oh. Might have been a touch on that pass on the way through, deflection from Perth, which just put it off.
And the pass came in just a little bit late. I think there was that split-second indecision, and that's what made it really.
The cutter had almost overrun his lead. As a beautiful pass inside. Unfortunately, the layups missed.
Bit of a miscommunication there as well, as both players from the Wheelcats come under.
The Spartans had a touch, so 14 seconds on the shot clock now. The red number above the backboard for Perth to operate. Not too many touches there as Phil Evans launches a three that's short. Ethan Laird in number 4 for Southern Districts wheels around. He's appealing for a foul there.
Yeah, so what players will do there, if their teammate's gone down, whoever's got the ball can point at that player and the play will stop. So they're essentially indicating to the referee that, hey, I want to stop the play, let them get up.
Okay, and no foul there, we're talking incidental contact?
Incidental contact.
Okay.
There doesn't have to be a foul called for players to go down. Sometimes it just happens.
So Ethan Laird a fraction off with that baseline jumper. Play being pushed the other way by Ben Moncrief. Throws a bit of the no-look pass.
Good recovery defense there.
Phil Evans back to Moncrief. Top of the key. Looks at 3, thinks better of it. Back out. McHugh says, I can do that. 3. That's off. Rebound goes astray.
That's the defense I was looking for in the Spartans. That's a lot better. Kind of holding them out there, forcing them to take a 3-point shot.
Yeah, the initial foray was denied. The skip pass, a well-contested 3. And a great box out. Ethan Laird running the point again. Skips it across to Fartow. Back to Laird. He's looking inside, wheels around. Back to Fullwood. His shot's up. And there's contact there.
It's unfortunate that there was contact there because Fartow was in a really good position actually. Had gotten inside.
Jake Fullwood a little long. He's one of few lefties that we've seen. Certainly the only lefty I've seen in this game to date. Second one, it's the same point on the back of the rim. Ball kicked ahead, the Wheelcats. Evans surveying the players. The transition catches up with him. Back to Moncrief. He looks inside. Oh, finds Jake Kavanagh, who makes the layup and draws the foul for the 3-point play, potential 3-point play.
And you could hear on that, you could hear him yelling for the pass. That's the kind of communication that I'm hearing from Perth that's really helping them out.
Any shooter fouled in the act of shooting who makes the basket is entitled to 1 free throw afterwards. And
beautiful shot.
Jake Kavanagh makes that look easy. Kia Fartow now bringing the ball up. Ethan Laird getting a well-deserved rest. He looks inside. There's some more contact. Hayden Seabar find his way to the line. As we watch Hayden Seabar and some substitutions come in. We mentioned about the relative points, the classification of each player. So the basic rule for anybody sitting at home is a team can have up to 14 points on the court at any one time, and each of the players, individual players, has a different points designation.
Yeah, so it ranges from 1 to 4.5, 1 being mostly people who are permanently in a wheelchair, spinal cord injuries and things like that, who have the lowest level of function, and 4.5 being the highest level of function, which is predominantly amputees, who, other than a missing limb, their body is in full control and they have full control over that.
So we see a 3 off, scrambling to get his own rebound there. Ben Moncrief successful, cuts back, he's in the paint, finds an opening.
We've seen
Simon Corridge.
Cooper Spillane come in.
And that's the coach's job, Campbell, to keep a track of how many points he's got on the floor. Is the score table as well would monitor that, or the referees?
The score table's monitoring that. They won't tell you if you're wrong, but you will get a team foul, essentially.
Okay.
If you are wrong. And the other team can challenge it if they think that the calculation's been done wrong.
Okay.
Which is very rare. Coaches are pretty... they'll do the maths a few times before they substitute anyone in.
There's only a short break for Ethan Laird as he's back at the point. Number 4 there. 4 Southern District Spartans in the black uniforms. Perth Wheelcats in the red. We're here.
Just a miscommunication there.
The Bendat Basketball Centre in Perth. This is the second of 3 games in this first round series in the National Wheelchair Basketball League. Back with 7 men's teams in 2024. Each of these 7 men's teams will play each other 3 times during the season, a total of 18 games before a collated finals weekend for the top 4. That pass just a little hot from Ethan Laird there. Fartow unable to reel it in. Sean Norris in 10 has the ball for the Perth Wheelcats. Wheels around. Commits the defender. His driving lane's cut off, but there's some contact the referee has identified.
Spartans really just needing something to go their way to just give them a little bit of confidence.
So we're almost halfway through the second quarter. The Wheelcats comfortably in control by 18. Sean Norris looks 3, likes the look of it. It's a little long. Laird the rebound. As the players in black look to stream down the floor. A double screening action there. Laird shot is off. Lovely left-hand pass inside.
Good rebound and recover. That's what you'd be looking for from someone like forward, being a bit of a taller player, looking for those rebounds to kick him out to someone else.
And the ball barely touched his hand. There was literally a one-touch rebound and relocate. Shannon Buxton cut off in his transition. Finds Fullwood. He's looking with that left hand again. Fartow scanning inside. Back to Buxton. Oop. Shot clock expires there. Too much messing around. The ball just moving around in a triangle.
Very well timed tap just on the back of the ball so that he had to kind of recover and that wasted enough time.
You see some more substitutions for the Wildcats, the Wheelcats. Frank Pinder on in 2 with the flowing locks. Norris makes the baseline cut. Oh, beautiful stuff.
Just can't finish.
Tom McHugh unable to finish, but he's hung around there and really stymied the transition. The baseball pass is off the mark. Ethan Laird had leaked down the floor, but the transition defence was good from the Wheelcats.
That was really a last-ditch effort just to get it over to break the shot clock. 8 seconds.
8 seconds in the backcourt. Each team is allowed out of that 24-second shot clock, during which time they have to get the ball past halfway. Looks inside again.
Good fight from Aiden.
Ball broken up by Seabar. With a deflection there. The ball will stay with the Wildcats. 14 seconds on the shot clock for them to find a way to get something up. Norris looks inside. McHugh turns around, can't quite get it to go. Player goes down. And the referee will stop play there. So that'll be a reset to 14.
Yes.
Somebody going down.
Yeah, it's just considered play is dead, restart, and if you restart play in the forward half, 14 seconds instead of the 24.
Let's see what the Wheelcats, not really running a lot out of that baseline out of bounds. Ball with Norris, he's looking inside. You can see the McHugh mismatch, but decides to shoot himself. A little long on the banker. Ethan Laird spots a narrow opening. Ball's deflected. He can't get back to get it. Ball with Norris. Laird desperately trying to stay in front of him with his chair. Gets a hand on it. Doesn't agree with the official's decision. So it bobbles between the two of them, but the ball will stay with the Wildcats, the Wheelcats.
Referee makes a good point there of not letting Ethan argue. Kind of just that's the call he's going to make. Move on.
As we see a timeout in proceedings, 3.5 minutes left, second quarter. The Wheelcats, after winning the first game earlier this afternoon, 65-53 over the Spartans, having their way a little more here, 33-17. Notable for the transition's probably been their biggest advantage, their ability to stymie the transition for Southern Districts and their ability to execute at their own offensive end. And lead scorers to date, we can see for the Perth Wheelcats. Kavanagh with 13, usual suspects, McHugh with 8, and Ethan Laird leading the way as usual for Southern Districts with 9 points at this stage.
I think if the Spartans want to come back into this, they've really got to get Fullwood into a scoring position. He's a tall player, he's a 4.0 player, which means he's on the higher end, and they tend to be your inside shooters, but they're really just not getting him the opportunities to shoot from inside the paint. That's putting a lot of pressure on Laird. He's ball carrying, he's shooting, he's doing a lot of work here, and he doesn't really get a break.
Yeah, noticeable for Perth, Sean Norris, well, he might only have the 4 points, he's 6 assists already in the 16.5 minutes we've played, as that one's awry. Ethan Laird, almost a pinpoint pass on transition there. Hayden Seabar had leaked out. Ball just striking the back of his chair. And rolling out of bounds as Norris looks to operate again. Wheels around. Confronted. Finds a pass inside. Makes himself available again as we've got player down out of his chair. Fartow, he manages to get himself back up. Referee calls a halt.
And it's almost a benefit to the Spartans that was called. It lets the play reset, lets them set up a little bit.
The shot clock for the Wheelcats is reset to 14 seconds. Norris looks, skip pass. Makes the cut back himself, wide open.
Beautiful push.
Yeah. Beautiful little change of direction to make that cut and completely bamboozled his defender.
They've got to be aware of that. Sean's quite a fast player.
Fartow now, back to Laird. Beautiful spin, looks inside, can't find an opening. Back out again, the 3 is up. Fartow, no good. Here's Norris again, streaking down the floor.
Good pressure.
Good matchup from the Spartans. Denied that transition, the lob's there. It's his running mate McHugh. He's got that lovely high arcing release.
And really, once he gets into that position, there's no one on the Spartans that can quite contest him. They can't get a hand to the ball, rather. They've got to stop him earlier.
Fartow looking, thinks about the long 2, thinks better of it, back to Laird. Outside the 3-point line, launches, that's good.
Fantastic long shot.
He's almost heading back when he released that. So Norris peels down the floor. Sees a little bit of a gap. It's cut off. Back to Evans. Just looking around. A little bit of off-ball screening action there. Norris looks at 3. Offensive rebound. Beautiful touch pass. Jake Kavanagh, the recipient. As the clock ticks down, last minute, second quarter. The Spartans in a bit of a hole here, down 19. Laird shot is short.
Good recovery.
Rebound bobbles out to Fatau. He's looking back to Laird. Fake. Buxton's shot is off. Norris there, of course, with the rebound. Manages to get past the traffic. Thinking that was a moving screen off the ball.
Didn't actually see it. I'm surprised that there was anything called there. These players have actually been very, very good about their fouls up until now.
Generally, we've seen the hand raised by most players as substitution is made by Southern Districts. They have the ball and can utilise this entire shot clock running down. It's about a 2.5 second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Fatau left wide open, likes the look of that. McHugh with the rebound. Oh, finds Norris on the move. Beautiful transition basketball.
And that's the speed of Norris again. Just
Southern Districts probably wishing they'd held for that last shot there. As they find themselves with a deficit, a significant deficit, 41-20 here at half-time. Second game, round 1. National Wheelchair Basketball League. Campbell Fraser, anything you can add to what we've seen in the first 40 minutes of dominance?
I think it's going to be a hard pushback from the Spartans. I think they can definitely fight it, but I think they haven't quite shut down a couple of the fast plays, especially coming out of Norris and out of McHugh. McHugh being quite a tall player, but he does move pretty quickly, and I think they've just got to pick them up a little bit faster. I think that's all it comes down to. They can make this back easily, especially with Ethan's long shots.
Is there any particular strategic adjustment you think they might experiment with?
I think they know that they probably won't get too many rebounds, knowing McHugh and Norris being quite tall. So if they can accept that they're not going to get rebounds off their missed shots, move back into defense a lot quicker, and then they're prepared rather than kind of scrambling next to the ball as it moves up. I think that's kind of, they've been almost next to or behind the play as it's moved into their defense, which means that they're already out of position.
So you're saying we quite often say they'll punt on offensive rebound, they'll potentially forego looking for as many offensive rebounds and just get back in transition.
Yeah, because I think they know they've got to play a defensive game at the moment. Yeah. Okay,
well, we will be back shortly. 8 minutes still to go before the second half gets underway, but we'll rejoin you back here closer to that time. welcome back here to round one of the National Wheelchair Basketball League. We're over in Perth. This game coming from the Bendat Basketball Centre. It's the Perth Wheelcats in the red. We can see moving off to their huddle up against the Southern District Spartans, the second of a 3-game series they're playing this weekend. They played at lunchtime today. The Wheelcats successful 65-53, and they're leading this one by 21 in a comprehensive performance. Campbell, what have you managed to discern from the statistics to this point?
Really, for the Spartans, it's come down to they're pushing a lot of their scoring opportunities through Laird. He's shooting 5 from 15 at the moment, and I think Perth has been able to respond to that a lot quicker than possibly they did in the last game, and really not giving him the opportunities that he wants. He is quite a low-sitting player, so any of the players on Perth can quite easily pressure him, and I think that's kind of getting to him. So they've got to look for things in other places. On the Perth side, I think they're obviously playing quite well. Their defense is going up and down at times. You can see when they're on it, they're talking very loudly. They're kind of in together. But there's been a few breaks that have come through that the Spartans have really pushed in. But I think they've really just got to tighten up those little things, get that communication going back again. And it'll be interesting to see how they come off the bench here. Especially with the Spartans being a little bit of a younger team, possibly having a little more energy, a little more fight than the veterans on the Perth side, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, we're underway in the second half. You notice the logo in the background, WBO, that's Wheelchair Basketball Australia, who are running this National League for men and the Women's National League, which starts next week. Approved and endorsed by Basketball Australia, but a separate organisation charged with running these two national leagues we're seeing in full operation for the first time since 2022, which is a fabulous thing. As Ethan Laird, the point guard, Southern District in the black uniforms, looks at three. He thought there might have been some contact. Nothing called. Phil Evans, the rebound for Perth, pushing down the floor. Tom McHugh really ran the lane hard there. He's managed to get that up with his left hand. One of the two left-handers we've seen in that game, in the game tonight. Sharon Buxton off to Laird, Fatau inside, gets that up and over the rim calmly.
And that's what we're looking for, a little bit of the defense to break down, because they're looking a bit more to Laird and seeing those opportunities elsewhere.
Norris goes baseline and of course finds the ever-present Tom McHugh, who makes the layup. The Wheelcats starting off where they left off at the end of that first half. Laird spins around. Buxton, Fatau goes glass. McHugh allows Norris to do the ball handling at the point. He looks to take a back screen, but in the meantime, cut inside, expertly found by Norris. Jake Kavanagh with the two there. Ethan Laird finds the post up. As Jake Fullwood managed to slip his defender.
A little bit of an over defense there. Kind of hoping for the interception and didn't get it.
Beautiful stuff. Frank Pinder gets himself on the scoreboard with the layup after streaking down the floor.
Very good control there to not be scared of a bigger player sitting in front of him.
It's Buxton wheeling around. Off to Seabar. Cut inside is blocked by Norris. He weaves his way down the floor, head up, finds McHugh. He's bumped before the shot, I think. The officials will determine. No, I think they've counted that basket. A little bit of NBA style continuation there. Looked like the bump on the chair happened before the shooting motion, but the official's in a much better spot than we are.
If the shooting motion is kind of hard to judge when you're moving in with a chair, so it's...
Tom McHugh completes the 3-point play there, getting the 1 bonus free throw for being fouled while in the act of shooting, and he made that basket. Ethan Laird, number 4, the point guard, an Australian roller. Whips, pass back across. Buxton can't make it fit. It's Tom McHugh finding Norris. Fractured defense here. He's going all the way to the rim. Looks around, wheels around the other side, but he's blocked. And the ball will revert to Southern Districts.
It's very good defense from the Spartans. That's kind of what I've been looking for, is that coverage. Hands go up very quickly. They're fighting for it a bit more.
They look like they were out of fractured defense there, but they have managed to recover really well. It's Fartow looking inside, sees the lob. It's Laird, thinks shot, fake. We've got a whistle as
player down.
Buxton is out of his chair. Uses the leverage provided by Frank Pinder to get himself up. As Pinder comes to the bench and is substituted by Jordan Moritz. Jordan Moritz in 12. Buxton wheels around at the point. Finds Laird. He looks at a long three with the shot clock expiring. Really had to let that one go. The shot clock, the red number, on the display at each end above the backboard. 24 seconds allowed for each team to construct a shot, or they turn the ball over. Sean Norris looking inside, beautiful pass again. He's really the master of the no look, isn't he?
He does a lot of ball handling in the role as the Australian national team, so this is really his comfort zone.
Jake Kavanagh, the recipient, making the layup there. And
pass.
Equally good pass, not even facing the direction that pass went. Ethan Laird finding Jake Fullwood, who didn't disappoint. Norris, fantastic cut.
A little bit of off-ball contact.
Pass from McHugh. That's just incidental contact again.
It'll be called
Transition
incidental contact. It's kind of, it amounts to nothing. If it was on the ball, it might actually get called a foul, but...
And if a player were to look to take a charge coming down the floor, they would have to have their wheel facing the oncoming chair. Is that correct?
Generally. It depends a little bit on the experience of the referee. That's how they're traditionally taught. Big wheel, if you hit the side of the big wheel and your back small wheels come up, that's kind of the indication of a charge. Charges can be called in other situations, but that's kind of the textbook version of it.
Which fits with the way you'll see people defending here turning their big wheel to face the player. As we see defensive rebound from the Wheelcats. Sean Norris pushing transition, looking inside, beautiful one-touch pass. McHugh, he acknowledges the hockey assist from Norris. And Jordan Moritz gets himself on the scoreboard.
We're really seeing the depth of the Wheelcats at the moment.
There's Moritz coming in for minutes now. Norris, number 10, pushing on transition, thinks better of it. 3 defenders back for Southern Districts. Wheels around, looks inside, nothing available. Makes another 360. Finds a shooter, off glass, Phil Evans. Beautiful control.
The Wheelcats really showing that they can take outside shots. They're happy to take those shots.
Beautiful pass inside, but that's gone astray, deflected. Ball will stay with the Wheelcats. 4 minutes left in the third quarter here. Bendat Basketball Centre, round 1. the National Wheelchair Basketball League. This one of three-game series we've seen this weekend. The Red Dust Healers having taken both their games in Adelaide from the Adelaide Thunder, and the Wollongong Roller Hawks winning the second of their two contests this evening over the newly instituted Manly Wheel Eagles. Those games played in Sydney, and both those series will have a third game tomorrow, Sunday. Ethan Laird wheeling around, double team there. No surprise, that's been a constant tactic tonight. Really put some pressure on him. Fartow, nice 360, whips the ball back to Laird. He's picked up again on the perimeter. Second defender comes across, gets a three away, but that's nothing but air. Substitutions.
Spartans doing actually very well to get their shots up. They're just not quite falling at the moment. I think they've gotten into a lot better positions now.
For anybody seeing the big Hawks logo in the middle of the broadcast there, that's the Perry Lakes Hawks, the local tenant club in the NBL1 West. This beautiful facility used for multiple forms of the game. So underhand pass there is deflected away by Perth. The ball will stay with Southern Districts. Southern Districts in the black, Perth Wheelcats in the red uniforms. They're dominating at the moment, ahead 62 to 28. Fartow shot fake, gets in the paint, whips it out. Laird, three. Just rims out. The ball not really falling for him tonight.
We've also seen Jasha Keatley come in just before. Good to see a little bit of difference off the bench for the Spartans. To see if they can work something out a little differently. Good check control.
Jasha Keatley there in 24. As Ethan Laird pushes transition. Multiple defenders around him, but he finds a way off glass. Takes a spill in his chair, but he's straight back up. Phil Evans confronted, kicks it out. McHugh with that lovely left hand. It's a little right. Norris gets it. Fake. Block. Nice rebound and defense from Fartow. He's looking for an outlet. Denied. Baseball pass finds Laird. Has to come back on his chair. He's cut off. Finds Fartow. He's looking everywhere. Finds Fullwood. That shot is off. And the Wheelcats are off to the races. Behind the back pass. Fantastic stuff.
A little bit of showmanship.
Moncrief. Phil Evans finishes things off and is fouled, so will receive one bonus free throw. Beautiful stuff there.
It looks a little bit showy, but that was also a very, very smart pass to pass it off because he had the defender coming in.
The Wheelcats version of Showtime. The free throw, unfortunately, is not as slick. A little flat. Fartow switches hands, fakes, holding the ball back behind. Jasha Keatley across to Laird, sets a screen for him. Looks to roll to the rim. Laird finds that lovely left hand of Jake Fullwood. It's high arcing two. Norris to Moncrief. Moncrief finds the roller. Beautiful stuff. Jordan Moritz finishes. Just a no-touch offense there. maybe a little frustration. Ethan Laird. Norris scheming at the top. Shot clock runs down under 10. He wheels around, kicks it across. Moncrief thinks three, fakes it, manages to get it off inside. Phil Evans finishes.
Up until that shot, that defense looking really, really strong there.
Yeah, they did a great
forcing
job.
them down.
And that's the end of the third quarter. Substantial lead, the Wheelcats, they're really turning it on, aren't they? And noticeable that just the six or seven players for Southern District's really a bit of a battle. Second game of in the one day, with a third game to come tomorrow. The road trips are really quite testing, aren't they?
And just not having the time to let players break, even if you're not looking for different combinations, but someone like Laird, who's been on pretty much the whole time, he's really not getting a break. He doesn't have a time to rest, and he kind of needs that breather.
So in terms of recovery, Campbell, what would the teams be looking to do between if they play a midday game and they've got a game at 8 p.m. this game, Perth time?
I think it'll vary a lot for different players. Different people kind of have their own little routines and things, but it'll all be like getting your fluids back up, eating something, especially this game being at 8 in Perth, making sure you've had something since lunchtime, essentially. But I think really the recovery will come tonight, when a lot of players will be looking at the ice baths, things like that. Teams might have physiotherapists on call. I'm not sure. Perth probably being the home team, they might know someone in the area. Yeah.
It's quite a strategic undertaking, isn't it, to fly across the country? You've got the time difference, 3 games in a weekend, but it's, as I mentioned at the start, a wonderful thing to see the National League back up and running. The Rollers heading to the Paralympics in not too far away, and Australia looking to host the Paralympics in 2032. Really a key time. The Gliders having that heartbreaking miss in the final qualifying game of their series in Japan, the tournament in Japan. Yeah, so I think this league and the women's league, important foundations for the sport in Australia.
Oh, absolutely. I think you saw a lot of the biggest players, and when Australia was really dominating, especially at the Paralympics, came from players who were able to play in their hometowns consistently, and not having that set up for a couple of years has been pretty hard.
As we see the Spartans getting things underway, moving screen called there. Official quite clear in his signal that the player in the chair screening for the player dribbling the ball has to be set and still.
Very quick contact there. That was a very good pickup by the referee.
Tom McHugh gets the ball off Jake Kavanagh, uses a couple of screens at the top, holds up. Moncrief looks at 3. It's actually a shot fake into a pass, and a couple of misses there. Ball bobbles back eventually to Jake Kavanagh, who finishes it off.
Spartans not even really playing defense on those
I think
rebounds.
Phil Evans couldn't believe how wide open he was. Hayden Seabar kicks it across. Fartow left open. He's been reliable tonight. Makes that 2 look rather comfortable.
Shooting more than 50%. Very good, actually.
Wheelcats with the ball. It's cut off at the point. But again, wide open inside. Simon Corrich defending there for Perth. Loose pass. Tom McHugh with the ball, surveying. Nice little fake. Gets through.
Beautiful.
Fouled. Finishes.
That's exactly what he was looking for there. He saw the defender coming in, knew that he had time for it,
Some visible tiredness there in transition the last few trips defensively from Southern Districts.
I think that's the bench coming in. That's having played that long without a break. And without anyone that can kind of substitute in. It'll be interesting to see how that changes in further games, if they do have that deeper bench.
Ethan Laird has screen set both side, wheels around, gives up his dribble, kicks, far tower wide open. He's been almost automatic from that mid-range.
I think they're realising that now. That's exactly where he wants to shoot from.
Phil Evans looks inside, finds Moncrief. He loses the handle, manages to come back and get it. Moncrief looks at three, that's front of the rim. Laird the rebound. Again, he's cut off in transition. Two defenders focusing on him almost every time down the floor. Deflection there. Laird manages to get it back. Takes it to the hoop, can't make the layup work. And Moncrief streaking the other way. That'll be another timeout to Southern Districts. Things really slipping away here, and probably for the coach of the Carina Leagues Club Southern District Spartans, Thomas Kyle, now he's trying to stem the damage, potentially with a view to tomorrow's third game.
And really looking at what they've done correctly and kind of emphasising that. I think it's important to recognise that yes, they are down, but they've actually made pretty good strides. They've came out this second half, I think, a lot better. And kind of looking at those things and saying, okay, what have we done right? Where can we kind of push those things? Because they are Perth are going to be a very difficult team. I think even looking at the wider league, they could be a pretty competitive team this season. So I think it's important that the Spartans don't get too down on it, looking at the scoreboard, but really looking at the individual play and saying, where can we improve?
So we see Sean Norris, one of the premier rollers in the Wheelcats team, comes back on the floor, and Tom McHugh, his fellow Australian teammate, takes a break. One of the luxuries the Perth Wheelcats have with this large lead and extended squad. The Spartans to see if they can find something to take out of these last 6 minutes. Fartow wheeling. Laird cut off again. Two defenders. It's been a familiar sight for him all night. Manages to get the offensive rebound. Looks inside. Fartow mid-range banker. Good.
That was a little closer to the position that he likes, and hits that one.
He's one of the masters of the bank shot, or certainly has been tonight, as Norris finds his way through and is unceremoniously fouled. That's the official no. And he'll head to the free throw line for 2 attempts. Each of those attempts worth a point. Short on the first, little jabby maybe in his release.
Maybe the time on court just getting a little bit to him at the end of this game.
Second one's on the money. It's the tireless Ethan Laird, makes his way down the floor. He's picked up second defender there straight away. Every time he's looked to come off a screen, there's been a hard show by the second defender. Beautiful pass inside. Fartow fouled, completes the layup. It appears to have been a conscious tactic. Led on the perimeter. Every screen, the next defender will be up in that lane before he can come off that screen and utilise any advantage. It's a surprise. Fartow misses from the free throw stripe. Ben Moncrief down the floor. Off to Sean Norris. Moncrief wheels around trying to get the pass back. There's an opening in the middle. ball will revert to the Spartans.
I think it's good that the Spartans have recognised that, even if it doesn't matter for this game necessarily, but noticing that they do have other scoring opportunities, they do have ways to get to the basket that aren't just through lead running it.
Fartow wheels around, he's left open again. Back to Laird, looks at three, that's long, a long rebound. Surveys the scene, Fartow wheels around. He's confronted by a second defender. Shot clock running down, he looks at three, possibly a little outside his range. The attempted quick outlet there. Norris first to the ball. Some real chair speed there.
Very good control.
Started a metre or two behind and quickly made up the gap, and then finds another cutter open in the lane. Lead at the point. Finds Keatley, he looks inside. Oh, just the layup won't go for Fartow.
Unfortunate angle to shoot from, trying to turn around.
Lovely pass from Keatley there. Norris is off to the races again, but cut off. He looks out to the perimeter. Moncrief short on that three, rushing for the offensive rebound, and maybe almost deliberately there, professional foul to stop Laird's transition.
Whether deliberately or just a little bit of anger at that missed shot.
I was going to say exuberance, but we'll go with anger. So we see a massive substitutions for the Wheelcats. But down inside the last 4 minutes of what's been a comprehensive performance by the home Perth Wheelcats here in round one of the National Wheelchair Basketball League. That shot is deflected, I think. Will stay with Southern Districts. See the signs in the background for belt up. That's the Insurance Commission of WA, part of their campaign to encourage seatbelt use. The naming rights sponsors of the Perth Wheelcats, a fantastic thing. The league starting up again. Sponsors are critical for the success of the whole thing as Ethan Laird goes back door and there's made the layup, but an offensive foul is called.
That's a very unlucky foul to get called.
There's a few rolled eyes there from various players in the Southern Districts team indicating what they may have thought of that particular call, but the referee perfectly positioned. And
I wouldn't even call it a wrong call. I think it's just very unlucky to get that called. You wouldn't see it very often.
Official quite adamant, and significantly and pleasingly the players just got on with it. That shot's a little long.
I think these players have a lot of respect for the referees that are around them.
There was Nat Hongsree on the floor there for the Wheelcats. A little break in play there. The official wants the ball inbounded again from the sideline. The Wheelcats well into their bench at the moment, which is great to see. Opportunity always for coaches to experiment with some players that may not see as many minutes.
I like seeing this with a little bit of a younger team coming out from Perth. Seeing a little bit more, a little less of that experience and kind of seeing where they can play at, giving them that experience.
Nat Hongsree in 7 on the floor. Cooper Spillane there drawing contact in 6.
Hard foul there.
And young Spillane will head to the free throw line for his chance to open his scoring account. Beautiful release there, nothing but net. Little long on the second. skates after the rebound, but Moritz beats him to it. Evans round to Moritz. That's off. Oh, outlet pass goes a little astray. Now back to Laird. He's thrown that one, but to a player who was already back cutting. He's turned over. Evans. The youngster can't get that to go. Cooper Spillane teasingly rolls off the rim. Laird on transition again. Eyeing things up. He's cut off again. Managed to get his way in the paint. Finds Fartau. He goes glass. Finishes.
It's fantastic to see Spillane fitting in with this team. He's a player originally from Adelaide, but playing in this Wheelcats team. It's really good to see how he fits in with them. Not necessarily growing up with this team around, but slotting himself in quite easily.
Certainly be exciting for him to be on the floor in this round one, as we see an offensive foul there from Jake Kavanagh, moving screen and transition in the backcourt, turns it over. Seabar, the pass goes astray inside. Wheelcats are off to the races again. Tom Evans, Cooper Spillane, long two is off. An offensive rebound and another offensive rebound, and Jake Kavanagh finds a way to score.
Really a lot of scores coming out of Kavanagh.
As we tick down inside the last 2 minutes. That three is short. Maybe a tired shot there from Laird.
I think that 38.5 minutes of gameplay
38
is
and a half
really
minutes
showing
will
itself.
do that to you at any level of basketball, let alone National League. Second game in a day. I think the Spartans will be licking their wounds a little bit tonight, but
what a good show. A lot to be proud of, actually.
Yeah, but no opportunity to rest. They're back on deck tomorrow for flying home. As Cooper Spillane's off with that mid-range jumper. And the indefatigable Laird is off to the races. I think he might have thought there was some contact there as he sails into the back wall. Stays in his chair. Another offensive rebound. And a finish there. Jake Kavanagh in the right spot again. Laird finds himself in the middle of the paint, has to get out of that 3-second area.
Really good
shot from Seabar. Yeah, a little off.
For a 1-point player, that's quite an impressive shot.
So just 25 seconds left. Jake Laird pivots, Seabar again. That one's good. Wheelcats' last possession of this encounter. Trying to set up Nad Hongshree there for a basket. It's a little short.
And they'll just roll it out.
And the Spartans, yeah, happy to wheel that one out. As the teams exchange handshakes, a really comprehensive and significant victory for the Wheelcats, particularly as the first game today was so close, and they dominated in pretty much every facet, Campbell.
Really interesting to see them come out with such a strong fight compared to the previous game. But really interesting to see the Spartans kind of having to find a different scorer, finding a few different opportunities that they didn't have through Laird there. And Yeah, we're seeing Kavanagh with 29 points, and McHugh with 20, which is interesting to see. All of those points not actually coming through the big, what we would refer to as the big, the 4.0 being McHugh, or 4.5, and Fatu actually having 16 over Laird's 14, and that 16 really coming out of the second half.
Yeah.
When that transition was kind of made after they realised Laird's really getting shut down.
Laird, for all his shooting struggles tonight, 14 rebounds, consummate performance, and that number matched by Sean Norris, and you would think that he's had a quiet scoring night. Then you look 11 points, but then you look 14 assists, which is a phenomenal number at any level of basketball and indicative of his control of the point and ability to find people on transition. So that's a wrap up for the Saturday games. All the first round and the first three matchups in the National Wheelchair Basketball League are in the books. We've seen tonight the Wheelcats much too good for the Spartans, 87-44 from Perth. We thank Sportscast for their production work with the broadcast. It's a fantastic thing. The men's league starting this week, and the women's league will be up on deck next week. A game from each round streamed. You can find all those games on YouTube and through the website, and the social media activity is fantastic to see. That it's really something we've needed, and it's been too long since it's been up and running. Okay, thanks for your viewing, and hopefully you can join us again for a game tomorrow and for games in the subsequent weeks with the men's and women's National Wheelchair Basketball Leagues. Thanks.